Okay, so moving on to this week's theme, which is personal brand. So the objective of this session is to explore, which is very relevant to now, how positivity can really help enhance your attitude. Now, positivity, we all know people that are just, exude a really sort of nice aura, and those are the people we often find ourselves gravitating towards. So I would say that positivity really helps people stand out, and everyone feels better when they're positive, and it's contagious as well. If you have one person in a group laughing and being really positive about a situation, it can really help to catch on to the other people in that group. And that's why I'm saying that even in a negative situation like this, where we're told to restrict our in-person social engagements, we can see the positive and think about the resources that we have on hand to make sure that we can still keep in contact with each other, but just in a different way, so over the phone or via video calls. So it's really important that we exhibit a can-do attitude, and it's something that we hear a lot from in terms of what employers are looking for and what mentors look for in their mentees. So it's a really, really desirable trait to see a problem and think about it in terms of something that you feel confident that you can tackle. I really hope that a lot of you feel like you can always give something a good shot. It doesn't matter that you might not be able to do something 100%, but just trying is enough, and that's what I think a lot of people look for. When you get something wrong, have a think about how you react to that. Would you be defensive about it, or would you be constructive? So really think about if you get something wrong, there's no point in kind of getting up in arms about it and feeling really embarrassed. Just take it on board and think about how you can do better next time. I think we see this quite a lot in popular culture now, which I'm really happy to see, where people might, well-known celebrities might make mistakes. For example, something that's come up quite a lot is cultural appropriation. So, but instead of seeing it in a really sort of negative way, I've seen a lot of celebrities say, "Thank you for educating me about that. I didn't know that some people might have found the fact that I was wearing a kimono, for example, insulting. But now that I know that, I won't do it again, and I take that feedback on board. So thank you." I really think that this is the kind of attitude that we should adopt, and it makes you a much better rounded person, I think. So another thing I'd like to think about is how we do have control of our brain's response cycles. We have control over the mindset that we have, and Jabba and Roger have spoken a lot about this, where we really need to think about seeing things in the best way possible, because the disadvantage to not seeing the good side of things is that we just end up with a very negative mindset, which can really put us in quite a restricted lifestyle. So instead of seeing things in a bad way, think about how you can flip that on its head and make it positive. So, for example, right now is a really, really difficult time, because not only are we are our routines changing unexpectedly, and not only are we revising, so much, and it feels like a really rubbish time, but think about it as in, actually, what better time to be put into, basically isolation than this time, where we'd need to be indoors revising anyway. So that's an example of how we can see a situation that is actually seems quite difficult, but we can try and see the positives in it. So that's an example of changing the way our brain responds to something. So I'm a true believer, not in karma in a spiritual sense, but I do believe in karma in terms of the message that it promotes. So what goes around comes around is the general message. But I believe that if we do good, good will come to you. So if you're the kind of person that would get up off their seat on the bus for an elderly or sick person, if you're constantly doing nice, compassionate things like that, you're naturally going to give off a vibe where people want to help you too, and where people feel comfortable around you and people feel like they can rely on you. All the kind of nice things all the nice traits that people look for in a friend or in a employee. So how can we increase positivity in our lives? Well, as we've discussed, that research shows that we are happier when we behave positively. If we choose to conduct our lives in a positive way and make positive choices, we will be happier. So if we choose to eat well, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, be good friends, be good citizens, we will feel happier. It's a scientific fact. Let's make sure that we're focusing on positive information and direct attention away from negativity. If you're finding reading the news, not just now, but in general, very anxiety inducing, then the best thing to do is to not engage. We should only engage in things that we feel comfortable with or that we feel we have control over. For example, if we're finding watching the news right now very stressful, then I would advise not watching it, because there's not much control we have over what's going on apart from the maintaining good general hygiene, washing our hands and limiting face-to-face social interactions. So there are lots and lots of things to be angry, sad or anxious about. But the truth is there are an infinite number of things to feel passionate, joyful and excited about. And it's up to us to decide which of those things we want to focus on. So let's have a think about how we can divert our attention from negativity to positivity. One thing I would suggest that you could all do is write a list of all the things that we can be grateful for. So even just the little things, like the fact that we can turn on the tap and there's fresh water running out of it and we don't have to pay for it. The fact that we can, go to the toilet in a clean, hygienic setting. The fact that we have good friends around us. The fact that we have family members. The fact that we have a school that is incredibly supportive. The fact that we have 1 degree. So that's called a gratitude journal, and a lot of people find it really helpful to maintain a positive mindset by writing a few things they're grateful for each morning. So just to summarise what we've been talking about today, we are happier when we behave positively. Let's try and focus routinely, so every day, try and focus on positive information and direct your attention away from the negative things. And finally, we all know that there are lots of things to be angry and sad and anxious about, but let's really try and focus on the things that we can feel positive and happy about. So let's think about maybe starting up some gratitude lists and thinking about what we have to be grateful for. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I'd like you, as a takeaway task, to think about the things that you feel grateful for and to post them in the WhatsApp group. As usual, we will be giving points to those individuals that are engaging a lot and offering really good input. So again, I'd like to say thank you so much for listening today. We will be uploading the briefing again for next week's session, next Saturday at 9:15. And in the meantime, I'd like you all to have a very, very positive week, thinking about the things that you feel grateful for, working hard, and diverting your attention away from the news if it's making you anxious, and making sure that you're washing your hands a lot for at least 20 seconds, and just thinking about meeting up with each other, but over Google Hangouts or WhatsApp video calls. So as always, if you have anything that you want to share during the week, please do so on the Woodside WhatsApp group, and we will speak to you soon. Thank you, everyone.